Okay, hello again. Here in this video, we're going to be using a model's equation to make a prediction. So in last class, we saw a model and its table, and then we used that table to be able to develop an equation. So here we have the equation, and now we're making predictions based on this equation. So Mr. Patterson's twin sister, Mrs. Patterson, works in a restaurant as a waitress. Her salary is represented by the following function. Y is equal to 12x plus 25. Here, Y is her total salary, X is the number of guests she serves, a slope of 12 represents the average tip she receives per guest, and 25 represents the base salary that she receives per night, her initial value, or the initial value, I should say, in the problem. Okay, so Mr. Patterson's twin sister, Mrs. Patterson, works in a restaurant, right? So we know that, and we have the same function. So basically what we're doing here is we're answering two types of questions, essentially. In the first type of question, Mrs. Patterson makes $289. How many guests does she serve? Okay, so here we are given the value of the dependent variable, $289, the total salary in dollars. And you can solve for then the value of the independent variable, the number of guests. So we're given 289, y, and we're asked to solve for x, okay? If we have a equation with two unknowns, y and x, if we're given one, we substitute for that, and then now we have an equation of just one variable. So we can easily solve using the equation balancing methods that we know this equation. So the second type of question, if Mrs. Patterson serves 45 guests, how much money did she make that night? Here, sort of the other way around. Given the value of the independent variable, the number of guests, you can solve for the value of the dependent variable, the total salary in dollars, right? So the number of guests she serves, that dictates how much money she makes. Therefore, we know that we have the total salary in dollars depending on the number of guests. That's an easy way to sort out independent and dependent, just to sort of review that. Okay, so let's answer these questions. Okay, answering part A. So Mrs. Patterson makes 289. How many guests did she serve? So as I said, what we're essentially doing here is we're substituting this 289 in for the value, because $289, the total salary in dollars, is the value of the dependent variable. Dependent variable is y, so we substitute 289 in for y, and we need to know that 289 is y. So to do that, we first need to identify what is the value or what is the dependent variable in the situation. So that's why we're asking you to identify independent and dependent always first, because we use it to say, okay, if I'm given 289, is that X or Y? Well, I don't know unless I assess the 289, the total salary in dollars, was the value of the dependent variable. Okay, so subtract 25 from both sides. Subtract 25, subtract 25. And my result is 269 to 264 is equal to 12x. 264, we divide both sides by 12, divide both sides by 12, and we get 264 divided by 12, wow, that's a terrible 12, is x is equal to 22, right? So, therefore, my answer here, and this, let's be very clear here, my answer is not x is equal to 22. I am not done. My last step, the most important step, the way that you won't ensure that when you're quizzed on this, to get points taken off. So I'm going to be very clear. You will get points taken off tests or quizzes if you don't put the answer with units, meaning my final answer here is 22 what? Not 22x's or 22x is equal to 22. 22 guests. That's my final answer. Okay, same thing, part B. Mrs. Patterson serves 45 guests. How much money did she make that night? Here, we're given the value of the independent variable, x, and has to solve for the dependent variable, y. So once again, you need to sort out which is which. So what am I doing? I'm substituting x for x is equal to 45, and I'm getting, so let me just be clear to write that down. This is x is equal to 45. And you might want to even write like x above that, just so you know. Once you sort out which one is a which, independent and dependent, so you will be able to obtain the correct answer. Now this is just a matter of just simplifying the right-hand side. So we're solving for y, for total money. 12 times 45 is 540. 540 plus 25 is equal to, okay, hold on, let me extend my page. 540 plus 25 is 565. Is that my final answer? Everyone should be saying a resounding no, it is not my final answer. What is this answer? And your answer should make sense, because if I'm asking how much money she received, it makes sense my final answer should be a dollar amount, right? So in the same way that I put guess in the last problem, I need to put a dollar sign next to 565. I'm going to box that out to indicate my final answer, $565. Okay, so we're not going to do a second example here. I feel like this is intuitive. Additionally, we approached it in class a little bit today. So I just want you to approach the your turn problem here about Mr. Patterson's teaching skill units in TSU or TSUs. So try this out. Same sort of A and B parts. We're given the independent and has to solve for the dependent. Given the dependent has to solve for the independent. So try this out on your own, and I'll see you in class on Tuesday. Oh, almost made it under 6 minutes. Oh well, you get the idea. See ya.